Need a great new job? We're playing football again. Last call for alcohol, no more in Alpharetta, and our furry friends dominate this week's news on the latest Northside Neighbor Week in Review podcast. Make sure you share this podcast with friends and neighbors, as well as on Facebook and other social media formats. And leave a remark in the remarks section wherever you get your podcast.
Engineered Solutions of Georgia.
Hey Atlanta, this is Jay and Lewis, owners of Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Lewis, what should a homeowner do if they have a crack in their block wall, corner of their door, window, or concrete foundation?
Well, Jay, if it's a diagonal crack, this lets us know that they should be concerned and there could be a serious problem. Then they should call our office at 678-ESOG now and set up an appointment to have one of our qualified professional technicians come out to their property to take a look at the problem.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. I've done the research already, so you don't have to. You can trust Engineered Solutions of Georgia.
Give Engineered Solutions of Georgia a call at 678-ESOG now.
Engineered Solutions of Georgia. We guarantee a stable, dry foundation.
Welcome to the Northside Neighbor Week in Review podcast, a quick glimpse on what's happening on the north side of Atlanta from Buckhead to Alpharetta.
It pays to know your doctor. It pays to know your lawyer. And now more than ever, it pays to know your local real estate professional. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Drake with Drake Realty, and we have 7 offices in the metro Atlanta area. I'm the proud leader of over 700 agents here in Georgia, and we pride ourselves in professional service, whether you are the buyer or the seller. Drake Realty makes the home buying process seamless from contract to close. Our agents are a little different. They're not pushing for the quick sale and close. They are pushing for the best price and terms for their client. In other words, Drake Realty fights for you. And right now, with the lowest interest rates we have seen in 30 years, now's the time to buy that dream home, vacation home, or new home your family deserves. A lot of real estate agents talk big. Let my team at Drake Realty prove they will fight for you. I'm Jeffrey Drake, and I'd be honored to have my team serve you. Visit us online at drakerealty.com. And remember, it's not how quick you sell or buy, it's what the deal provides for your future.
One of the nation's biggest players in the financial technology industry, FinTech, is coming to Sandy Springs. Deluxe Corp, a Shoreview, Minnesota-based financial services company, has announced plans to open its FinTech and Customer Innovation Center in the city this spring. It'll occupy building space previously held by another FinTech business, Fiserv, at 5565 Glen Ridge Connector. The company supports 4,000 financial institutions and 4.5 million small businesses and does $2.8 trillion in payment volume annually. The center is 2 facilities in one, with part dealing with FinTech and the other including payment and cloud services. It'll employ 709 workers over a 3-year period with an average salary of $91,500. And Deluxe is investing $10.2 million for the build-out and $2.4 million for furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Deluxe President and CEO Barry McCarthy said in an interview, "We did a national-level search for the location of these 2 centers, and Georgia rose to the top of the list because of the extraordinary concentration of FinTech and payment companies in the metro area and the incredible job the state has done in supporting the industry." He added the state's support of FinTech includes its colleges and universities producing top talent through its programs, plus 3 organizations promoting the industry: the Technology Association of Georgia, FinTech Atlanta, and the Metro Atlanta Chamber. McCarthy said Deluxe, which was founded in 1915 as a pioneer in creating flat pocket checkbooks, still does under 40% of its business in check-related services for individuals and businesses, but with less checks being written today due to the availability of online bill paying and other electronic services, the company, which has about 6,300 employees, is moving more toward FinTech, payment, and cloud services. McCarthy says, "We were pretty clear our center should be in Georgia because our company needs the talent Georgia offers. We're very proud of our legacy as a check printer, but we're increasingly becoming a payment and cloud services company. That means we need to be where the FinTech talent and talent in payment and cloud services are." He said Deluxe looked at about 10 sites across metro Atlanta for the center before narrowing the search down to the North Perimeter area and then choosing Sandy Springs. The company worked with Sandy Springs and Fulton County officials on the project. The location of our building is just outstanding, McCarthy said. It's a landmark building right there at Georgia 400 and Interstate 285, and we have the naming rights to it. The access to our building is fantastic from both 400 and 285. We're close to the medical center, MARTA station, so we have a shuttle for that. At the Sandy Springs City Council's August 4th meeting, Andrea Worthy, the city's economic development director, said Deluxe was considering locating the center in Sandy Springs. Up until then, it was identified only as Project Painted Lady in city documents. At that meeting, the council voted 6-0 to approve an incentive request from Deluxe for its plans. The application would include waivers of building permit fees and business occupational taxes for tenant build-out of an existing office building in Sandy Springs. According to city documents, because of the sensitive nature of informing employees and investors about potential relocation or expansion, Deluxe's center was identified as a project name until the due diligence for its nationwide search where this new location was completed. Sandy Springs Mayor Rusty Paul said in a news release, "Sandy Springs is the epicenter for financial services and innovative companies because of our convenient access to locations across the metro as well as to top talent. We're delighted to welcome Deluxe to our community." McCarthy says Deluxe has 2 other Metro Atlanta facilities, one in Winder and one in Lithia Springs. Its Dunwoody office, which recently closed, has employees who are working from home but will move into the Sandy Springs Center once it opens. It's a very important strategic move for the company because our future is about payments and cloud services, he said. We're pulling in payments, fintech, and cloud talent to create new products and services. With Fulton County Schools' 2-week delay to the start of the high school football season due to the COVID-19 pandemic ending this week, barring a spike in cases, the Northside area will have a full slate of games this weekend. The schedule is highlighted by the North Springs Riverwood rivalry game, which will take place at the Raiders' Hoskin Stadium. Unlike 2019, this year's game is not a region contest since Riverwood plays in Class 6A and the Spartans are in 5A due to the Georgia High School Association's reclassification. But with the 2 schools being the only public schools in Sandy Springs, it remains a rivalry nonetheless. North Springs is hoping to avenge last year's 28-7 loss to Riverwood. Another battle involving 2 local schools is also on the docket. Marist, which was off in weeks 1 and 2, will visit Woodward September 18th. The War Eagles fell to 5-time defending Class A private state champion Eagles Landing Christian 14-0 September 4th and were off on the 11th since its game against Hapeville Charter was canceled due to the outbreak. Pace will go from playing one 2019 playoff team in Week 1 to facing another in Week 3. The Knights, who beat Class A private semifinalist Holy Innocents 14-7 on September 4th, was off last week to prepare for a September 17th game against State Power Eagles Landing Christian. In Pace's win over Holy Innocents, Evan Smith Rooks was 8 for 19 passing for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Deuce Jordan had 13 carries for 66 yards. Tyquan Alexander scored the Golden Bears' only touchdown on a 78-yard run with 5 minutes left in the third quarter to put them up 7-0. 2 minutes later, Pace tied the score on Smith Rooks' first touchdown pass. The Knights took the lead on another Smith Rooks touchdown pass with 5 minutes remaining in the game. Holy Innocents took the ensuing kickoff and drove all the way to Pace's 32-yard line, but ran out of time. The Golden Bears are idle this week. Lovett, which was off in Week 1 since its game against Westminster was postponed indefinitely due to some Wildcat players being quarantined because of the pandemic, took on Greater Atlanta Christian September 11th and will visit Washington in a region game September 18th. Westminster, which was off in Weeks 1 and 2, will visit Sandy Creek September 18th. Whitfield, which played at Elbert County September 12th, will host North Cobb Christian on September 18th. The Wolfpack edged Mount Vernon 43-40 September 4th. Whitfield led 28-27 after 3 quarters and held off the Mustangs in the final period. The Wolfpack was led on offense by Aiden Duncanson, who threw for 258 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and rushed for 71 yards and 2 scores, and Miles Redding, who had 175 yards receiving and a touchdown. The defense was spearheaded by Caleb LaValle, who had 11 tackles and added a rushing touchdown on offense and a kickoff return touchdown on special teams. The Mustangs were led by Blake Keidel, who completed 19 of 41 passes for 408 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Andrew Douglas was his favorite receiver, catching 9 passes for 195 yards and 3 scores. St. Pius X, which is coming off a 38-28 win over Flowery Branch September 4th and was idle September 11th, will face three-time defending state Class 3A champ Blessed Trinity on September 18th. The Titans' September 4 game against Forsyth Central was canceled due to the outbreak, and they were also off on September 11th. In its win over Flowery Branch, St. Pius racked up 394 yards rushing, led by Jack Graham's 82 yards and Mason Benefield's 2 touchdowns. Joey Sanfilippo led the Golden Lions defense with 7 tackles, including 2 for a loss and a sack. We'll be back with stories, more high school updates, no more last calls, and furry friend news on the Northside Neighbor podcast right after this.
Carriage Kia in Gainesville and Woodstock has up to $6,000 in rebates right now during the summer sticker event. New 2019 Optima, Sorrento, Sportage, Stinger, and Forte. 66 months, 0% for qualified buyers only at Carriage Kia, Gainesville, and Woodstock.
North Atlanta, which had its September 4th and 11 games against Wheeler and Grady respectively canceled due to the pandemic, will visit Jackson September 18th. Wesleyan, which faced Mount DeSales September 11th, will host Douglas September 18th. And the Wolves are off, coming off a 45-14 win over Mount Pisgah Christian September 4th. Wesleyan's Cooper Blouser caught 9 passes for a school record 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. Blouser also had a rushing TD and intercepted a pass, and his performance earned him Offensive Player of the Week honor from the Touchdown Club of Atlanta. Campbell, which visited East Paulding September 11th, will host Berkmar September 18th. The Spartans opened the season with a 34-9 loss to Lambert, which snapped the Longhorns' 16-game losing streak while extending Campbell's slump to 19 straight games. The Spartans got all of their points on field goals. Campbell led 9-7 at halftime, but was outscored 27-0 in the final 2 quarters. Holy Spirit, which lost its season opener at Horizon Christian 61-6 August 28th, fell at Lanier Christian 30-0 September 4th. The Cougars, who are idle in Week 2, will host Windsor September 18th. Remember, most schools have special provision for attendance, so check with your school's website for full details.
Be creative, innovative, passionate. Be excellent, inspiring, driven. Be faithful, disciplined, prepared. At Union University, you will thrive in a Christ-centered community and be equipped for success in your life and career. Begin your journey today. At Union University, be transformed.
Retailers in Alpharetta are well on their way to being able to deliver alcoholic beverages to patrons who are reluctant to go out because of the coronavirus pandemic. City Council approved the first reading of an ordinance that will allow Alpharetta to adopt parts of a new statewide law that permits licensed alcohol retailers to take orders for the sale of alcohol and deliver it within or outside the city limits. House Bill 879, which Governor Brian Kemp signed into law August 3rd, lets restaurants, supermarkets, and liquor stores make home deliveries of beer, wine, and distilled spirits in Georgia in cities that choose to take part. According to the ordinance, retailers must follow the House bill and any regulations issued by the Georgia Department of Revenue. The new ordinance, which will have a second reading at a later date, also includes 2 other changes to the city's rules on alcohol with regards to complimentary service of adult beverages at certain businesses and distance requirements for historic properties. At a September 8th City Council meeting, Community Development Director Kathy Cook said businesses such as beauty salons, spas, bridal shops, and art galleries already offer complimentary drinks to customers, and the new ordinance will set guidelines for the practice. Businesses will have to apply for an annual license with a fee of $300 and submit to criminal background checks. Pours of wines will be limited to 6 ounces, and pours of beer will be limited to 8 ounces per person. The permit will also allow patrons to bring in 1 bottle of wine to an establishment for events like paint and sips. The third aspect of the ordinance will allow an establishment that has been designated as a contributing historical building to apply for distance requirements variances as long as requirements are met. Councilman Ben Burnett and John Hypes voted against the ordinance, making the vote 5-2, saying the ordinance should be split into 3 separate items to be voted on independently. It looks like there will be 3 separate items besides mentioning the word alcohol. I don't see what one has to do with the other, Burnett said at the City Council meeting. And last but not least, here are 2 updates about our furry friends that will make you smile. Lifeline Animal Project is using the latest in facial recognition technology to help reunite pets with their owners. Lifeline, which manages the DeKalb and Fulton County animal shelters, recently partnered with Finding Rover, a free website and mobile app that uses photos of lost pets to help find them and place them back with their owners. Since many of the pets entering Lifeline shelters once had homes, Finding Rover is another tool it's using to reunite them with their owners. Finding Rover uses facial recognition technology to scan pet photos and search for potential matches. Through the partnership, photos of all stray animals entering Lifeline shelters will be uploaded to Finding Rover's website. When someone in Metro Atlanta reports their pet as lost on Finding Rover's website, his or her pet's photo will be scanned against all stray pets at Lifeline shelters. The photo will also be scanned against all pets reported as found to the website and all stray pets at partner shelters within a 200-mile radius. Lifeline was recently chosen to be a pilot member of the National Coalition Human Animal Support Services, which aims to keep the human-animal family together by providing a range of pet support services, including lost pet assistance. According to Lifeline CEO Rebecca Gwynn, her organization is happy to have another resource to help reunite lost pets and their owners. We now have 2 caseworkers at each of our county shelters providing lost pet assistance, rehoming support, and help to struggling pet owners, she said. Facial recognition technology is a wonderful new tool that we're using in addition to microchip scanning to help lost and stray pets return home quickly. We're excited about facilitating more reunions and proud to be the first Finding Rover open admission shelters to partner in Metro Atlanta. Finding Rover works with more than 600 shelters in the U.S., has over 700,000 pets in its database, and has reunited 18,000 pets with their families so far, including some in Metro Atlanta through Lifeline. One metro area dog, King, was reunited with his family after being missing for 8 years. Wow. It's meant to be used in addition to microchipping pets to increase the odds that if someone's pet ever goes missing, they'll be able to bring them home again. To set up a free pet account or to report a pet is found, visit www.findingrover.com. And finally, you may have seen them compete on America's Top Dog. Now, Alpharetta Police's most famous good boy is helping raise money to cure childhood cancer. North Fulton Neighbor reporter Elizabeth Nuria talks to Sergeant Mark Tappan about his partner and best friend, Police K-9 Mattis.
Thank you for joining me this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So if you just want to start off by kind of telling me about you and Mattis, like how long you guys have been a team, how long you've been with Alpharetta Police.
Sure. Well, my name's Sergeant Mark Tappan, and I am with the Alpharetta Police Department. I've been with the Alpharetta Police Department for 14 years now. I've done a myriad of things, but by far my favorite thing that I've done is K-9. And I've been partnered up with Mattis. Mattis, come here. I've been partnered with Mattis for the last 5 years. And he makes me look so much better than I am. He's a great dog. He's a German Shepherd. He's 7 years old, and he's just fantastic. Love what I do, that I get to work with this amazing dog every single day.
How much does he weigh? He's huge.
He is a big boy. He's 97 pounds.
Wow. Okay. So what prompted you guys to start raising money for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month?
Well, I had a social media platform that was a pretty decent size at the time, and there was someone that was running Coins for Cure, who helps out cure childhood cancer, and they reached out to me through Instagram. They saw my platform on Instagram, and she said she kind of just took a shot in the dark to see if I'd want to do something with my platform to help raise money to fight childhood cancer. And to me, it was an absolute no-brainer. It was one of those things that my whole purpose of doing social media is to make an impact, to make a difference, to bring people together. And when I was approached with Fight Childhood Cancer, it's one of those things, how can you say no to that? Right. And so I started working, and it was through Alpharetta Children's Dentistry with Dr. Mack and Jessica Alford, who reached out to me. And it was just one of those things that, man, how can you say no? So we started doing it. It was like, yeah, let's do anything we can to make a difference, because that is an incredible cause. Like these kids that are fighting day in and day out, we wanted to be a part of that.
So what, how much money are you guys at now? Like how close are you to your goal?
This year, we set a goal for $5,000 raised, and last time I checked, we were at $3,500, just through our social media platforms. But in addition, I have merchandise sales and stuff like that, and with that, we're actually over the goal. But I really don't. I count just the straight donations towards the goal. But with the merchandise sales, we're about at 3,000 with that as well.
Do you think you guys are going to raise your goal as you get more donations in? Yeah.
Yeah, because we said at first that I think it kind of defaulted to $500, and that was done in the first 20 minutes of doing the fundraiser. And so it was one of those, we raised it to 5,000. So hopefully we'll pass that. I have a couple more ideas to kind of fuel the fire to keep the fight going. So yeah, we'll definitely raise the goal if we surpass it.
Yeah. How have you been getting the word out about this fundraiser?
Through two platforms. I have about 120,000 followers on Instagram. And on TikTok, I have 2.4 million followers. And so it's just getting the word out through there and telling people what's going on and how they can join the fight.
Yeah. You seem to have a lot of fun posting all the videos on the Instagram and TikTok. They're very entertaining.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I love the platform. It's one of those things that I realized, and it's one of the reasons I got into canine, is I realized that the bridge that a dog creates is, as a police officer, a lot of times people won't talk to you. But if you have a dog, automatically people become inquisitive, and they want to know more about the dog, and they want to know more than anything, they want to know about your relationship with the dog. And Madison is my best friend in the world. And so I wanted to take advantage of that. And I'm just kind of a goofy guy anyway, and I like to have fun. So TikTok and Instagram kind of work out well for us.
Yeah, so that was actually one of the things that I wanted to ask you about that. Because obviously tensions are high right now between officers and citizens. So do you think having like a more open and transparent platform like TikTok and Instagram kind of move that conversation forward and make more people comfortable?
100%. And that was the goal from the beginning. And I started my Instagram it's probably been 3 years ago, and TikTok was in September of last year when I started it. But it's the words that you exactly use. I wanted to be transparent. I wanted to be authentic. And I want to bring people together. That's my entire goal. People can see through if you're putting on a facade. So I always want to be, as you said, authentic in the material that I put out, and really the love that I have for the job that I do and the people I do it for.
So I saw that you posted a video a couple of days ago, and you were talking about how somebody sent you a hateful message.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So the funny thing is from time to time, just having large platforms, I get stuff like that. And my two responses to anything that's hateful is either just ignore it or respond with love. And the reason that I actually made that video was there's a young girl on social media who the same day had reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm getting a lot of hateful comments on my page." And she posts things that are very important to her, very pro law enforcement. It's something she wants to do with her life. And she's a 15-year-old girl that has the purest of motives and wants to make a difference in the world. Like that's the mindset that she's going into it. She's getting hateful comments from people. And so the reason I actually posted that video wasn't because it was something that really was bugging me, but I wanted to be encouragement to the other people that were out there that were receiving hate for whatever it is, not just being in law enforcement, but if you're standing up for something that you believe in, I think if we all respond in that way, not beat our drum and say I'm right, but if we respond to think about the background that someone else is coming from and the reason that they have the beliefs that they do. There's a reason that person said the hateful things that they did to me, right? And I don't know that person's background. But if we respond with compassion and wish the best on everyone, I think it'll bring the world a lot closer, and maybe that's just an altruistic view and myopic, but that's the way that I approach my social media. That's the way I try to approach my life too.
No, I think that's a good thing, and it's very positive, and we need that positivity and connection, especially this year.
Yes, ma'am.
For sure. Okay, so tell me more about America's Top Dog. How was that?
That was incredible. It was wasn't even on my radar. It was something I didn't put in for. Someone else recommended us for it. Just once again, kind of through our social media, they saw the kind of training that we were doing, and they thought they knew the level that we trained to. And so they recommended us, and the producers actually called us, and we did a few Skype interviews, and I guess they liked us. Okay. And I put most of that on Mattis. Mattis is a cool dog. So they ended up choosing us for the show, and it was fantastic. We got to fly out last year to Los Angeles, California, and we had 4 days of shooting out there to film the show, and it was just an incredible experience.
Do you think yours and Madison's relationship kind of changed at all during that? I'm not sure if that's a weird question, but.
No, it was. So with Mattis, I'm very intentional that I want him to be a good community relations dog, as well as excellent at his job. And so in the police community, there's a lot of people that think the dog can only it should be used as a tool and can only function in one way. So one of the things on the show that I wanted to do was I wanted to highlight, not only can he interact with kids, can he be amazing at community relations, but he's really good at his job too. So what I thought the show was really a highlight of our relationship. So it didn't change it. I think it just kind of gave a microscope to be able to see how a dog can be really good at community relations and really good at his job too.
Did you have a favorite moment from the show?
I remember there's a couple. One was the dive. I don't know if you saw the show or not, where the first episode, in episode 4, it was kind of funny. The way that they filmed the show, they showed us as episode 4, but we actually filmed it as episode 10, which meant the finale had already been decided, right? And so we were the last regular season, and the finale had already been decided. So I knew if I wanted to get into the finals that I had to do something spectacular. Not just win, but win convincingly. And so when I got to the obstacle called Splashdown, rather than just kind of let Mattis go through it, I decided I was going to dive with Mattis. And so that was a pretty cool moment, was when I dove, and watching it back, Mattis hit the water at the exact same time that I did. And the announcers went crazy. Yeah, and that was pretty cool. So that was a neat moment. But I would say that same episode, when we figured out that we won, because the way that you figure out that you win, like there's no announcement or anything like that. It's basically the lights on the tower change colors. And I was trying to remember what colors the lights were supposed to change if I had just won when I completed the final obstacle. And I couldn't remember like what the light sequence was. And then everyone was looking at me like, you won. And the person who came in second, you could see it on her face. And so I went down on my knees and I just grabbed Mattis, and it seemed like that moment lasted for a really long time. And that was pretty incredible. It was so much so that they actually had to tell me, all right, come on, you need to come over here now, because I was just kind of caught up in the moment with him.
What kind of questions do you guys get on Instagram or in person, like about Mattis, about you guys? Like, there are any reoccurring ones you guys get?
Yeah, the common ones are always, how old is he? What breed is he? Does he go home with me? Which is a good one, right? He does go home with me. He lives with me. He plays with my kids, annoys my wife, does all those things. But I think my favorite question is the why, and we kind of hit it a little bit already, but why do I do what I do? And why canine? And it's kind of interesting to me is I used to be SWAT. Amy and I were talking about it beforehand, but I used to be SWAT, and we do demonstrations, and we'd have all this cool gear with the SWAT team, like vests and less lethal options and cameras and robots and sniper rifles and all this other cool stuff laid out. We'd answer questions for people, and then a guy with a dog would show up, and people would gravitate to him. So to answer the why is, I realized, because I've always wanted to create that bridge like we were talking about earlier, to be able to show the humanity, to be authentic, to be real, to connect with people. And I saw the dog and the connection he builds with people. And I've always been fascinated by dogs anyway. So it seemed like just the perfect fit is to be able to get into the canine unit and take advantage of this bridge the dog creates.
Mm-hmm. What's been the most rewarding part of that for you?
So this is an interesting question too. It's because when you think about the job that we do, is we see everyone's worst day. Mm-hmm. And we see a lot of the worst situations in life. And I remember being involved in someone's absolute worst day where a child had taken their own life. And because of the profession that I chose, it gave me an opportunity to be there for that family. And it wasn't much. It was, kind of breaking the norm of a police officer at that time and giving a hug and crying with a mom that had just lost their kid. But just being afforded those opportunities, it can take a toll on you, but at the same time, it's the most rewarding as well, is just to be with someone in their worst time and to try to be a light.
Especially in that moment, people need comfort. That's already so shocking and raw to experience.
It is. And we all have coping mechanisms to deal with things. Mm-hmm. And for a police officer, it's very easy to become jaded, just as a defense mechanism, because you do see everyone's worst time. Yeah. And to be intentional, which is important to our city, right, is to be intentional about being compassionate in those times.
Is there anything that you wanted to add that I maybe didn't ask, whether it's about the fundraiser, about you guys in general?
Well, yeah, with the childhood cancer and Coins for Cure, it means a lot to us. Like I also help out other organizations, and I do fundraisers for like police dogs, which I absolutely love, raising money to help protect other police dogs or help dogs in retirement. I love doing that. We do some things with also Turning Point Breast Cancer, which is another one that's very important to me. And with both of those, with the Turning Point Breast Cancer and with the childhood cancer, being able to help those people. A lot of times people will say, maybe not this year, right? But they'll say that police, firefighters, first responders are heroes. And usually we're heroes for like a 2-minute act of bravery or a 30-second act of bravery. When you look at these kids, specifically these kids and their families, they're in a fight for their life every single day for sometimes years. To me, these kids are heroes, right? They need hope every day to continue that fight. And their family needs hope. And so just to be a part of something like that, to be able to maybe, I've had some kids fighting childhood cancer that are encouraged by the work that we're doing. But in reality, I'm encouraged by the way that they show so much courage on a daily basis for such a long period of time, and the toll that it takes, not just on the child that's fighting that battle, but the parents that are holding their kid's hand when they're fighting that battle, or their siblings that are sitting there by their side, not understanding what their brother or sister are going through. To be a part of something like that is special, and to play a very minuscule role like we do, it means a lot to us.
What was that breast cancer organization that you mentioned?
Turning Point Breast Cancer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. They help with rehab with ladies that have been through breast cancer and in their treatment.
Is that like in North Fulton?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Well, those are all the questions that I have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. It was great talking to you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.